Before I get started, I do consulting on where you can move. I'll work with you to find the perfect place for you to move to. There's more information at the end of the video about that. Now let's get started. Now I apologize in advance for what you're about to see for the next 15 or 20 minutes. It isn't pretty beaches or inspiring nature. It's not historical landmarks, and it's not rural charm. It's going to be construction, track homes, and endless sprawl. It's not pretty, nor is it very interesting. But perhaps you staring at all of it will let it sink in just how fast the state of Florida is growing today. It's everywhere in this state. And to see the most of it, there's no better place to go than an area you might have not even heard of before. Right now, we're in Polk County. This county isn't well known outside of Central Florida, but it's become the bullseye for all the latest growth in this state. It's somewhat wedged between Orlando's sprawl and Tampa's quickly growing metro area. One day, it'll likely merge into both, and there won't be any rural landscape from the Gulf all the way to the Atlantic. In the last 5 years, Polk County became the fastest growing county in Florida and the 7th fastest growing county in the United States. Every day, more than 1,000 people move to Florida. If this keeps up, Florida might become like most other places that get ruined by new people. And that wouldn't be good, mister. We're going to drive around Polk County and the surrounding areas of Central Florida and look at all the growth. I'm going to talk about how fast things are growing and what it means for Florida's future. And then we'll meet somebody who lives here to get her perspective. Spoiler alert, she's pissed. Florida isn't the same place you were raised. There's a big crowd of folks moving here every day. These are the growing pains of Florida. Yeah. Gone to Florida. That's the latest life event for so many of us Americans. Folks are moving here for low taxes, personal liberty, and of course the sunshine. Today it's the 5th fastest growing state in the U.S. Now, prior to my trip to Polk County, I had just visited the Villages, which is on another level when it comes to growth in this state. That place is about 70 miles to the north. Now, I'm not going to get into details on the Villages because there's a separate video just on that place. But I can say briefly, it is miles of new homes going in every day. You actually have to drive through it to appreciate where Polk County is headed soon. But Polk County is growing even faster than the Villages is. And it's spread out all over the place. Now, right now, we're taking some back road through Old Florida to get down to Polk County. This is what it looks like in whatever rural areas are still left in central-ish Florida. Most of what's not developed is areas of agriculture and swamps and forest. Some of it still has a slow-paced southern culture with nature and wildlife, where kids still play outside and it's sort of cheap. There's still a few old swamp slums out this way. Mostly poorer, smaller communities out in the sticks where there's still large open areas with cows and such. But they're becoming relics out in these parts, I'll tell you that. But there's a good chance all of this will be gone one day. The lifespan on cheap is about to run out here. Rural old Florida is just about gone now. There's nothing but a continual influx of people these days. You could argue that this is better than that, although the poor people probably wouldn't feel that way. There's so many new communities springing up here that it's hard to keep track of them, and many aren't even incorporated into nearby municipalities yet. You've heard of some of the bigger cities here, places like Winter Haven, Lakeland, and Davenport. On the fringe are the communities of Champions Gate and Flamingo Crossings. It's all very new and nice and somewhat pleasant, I suppose. Drive around here for a day and you're going to see expensive, sprawling housing developments and corporate warehouses. There's a lot of construction and concrete. The traffic's getting really bad, and a lot of the newcomers have brought their rushed, hurried lifestyles in. Of course, there's a lot of critics. A lot of people around here are sad about the deforestation and the loss of habitat. Some here feel the whole state of Florida is a big Ponzi scheme that relies on more people moving in. Native Floridians feel this state has sold itself out, and it's catering to all the rich newcomers at the expense of the lower class. It's sad that longtime Floridians are hoping for a big hurricane to come in and run all the newcomers out. That's just terrible, but that's how they feel. The locals are tired of the snowbirds and all the part-time residents coming down and changing laws or joining school boards and then flying back up to the Northeast for the rest of the year. That sucks.
Did you know Florida had the most people die than any other state?
Yeah, Mappy, good point. I see that. Looks like Florida had the highest natural population decrease in the country. I guess that's because there's so many old people here? Does that mean the population's getting younger here? Or less people are having kids down there? Mappy? No insight? Okay. What am I paying you for? Look at this chart. It shows the current land use in Florida and the projected land use in Florida in 40 years. You'd think all this building would mean a cheaper cost of living, right? More supply means cheaper homes? Well, it doesn't. Florida is now the least affordable state of all when you measure rent and mortgage prices versus salaries. Home prices here went up by 19% last year. Surprisingly, or not, Florida has the highest number of empty houses in the country too. 1 out of every 10 vacant homes in the country sits here in Florida. It doesn't do any good for me to tell you what the home prices are in this part of the state because by the time you watch this video, they're going to be much, much higher. Florida was always considered a lower cost alternative, but those days are long gone, pal. One leading real estate site looked at which housing markets are the most undervalued versus overvalued. And look at Florida. Practically the whole state is overvalued at this point. Housing prices here have doubled in the last 7 years, and the state prohibits rent control too. Folks making lower salaries can't afford it much longer. Who's going to wait on people and who's going to teach in the local schools? Even hospital workers and police officers can struggle to pad their savings living in Florida these days. It wasn't like that in the past. Florida could be heading towards a combination of the worst elements of California and Texas. Crowded and jammed, where the middle class population has no place. I mean, the homeless problem here is really beginning to ramp up. So has Florida destroyed itself? If not yet, when? Old Florida ain't coming back, I'll tell you that. I'll bet native Floridians now live with a sense of loss. It's like watching somebody they love slowly die. Florida used to be open land, lakes, bugs, dirt roads, rednecks, and friendly folks. At night you could see lightning bugs and you could see the stars. It used to smell like oranges and swamps down here. Now the swamps are being drained and today it's concrete and car washes, storage units, strip malls, and homes, homes, homes. I mean, I know people have to move somewhere, but damn. Well, at least there won't be so many bugs down here anymore, I guess. Maybe that's a good thing. I told you it wasn't going to be pretty, but it's the reality facing our nation's most popular place. The future of Florida is happening right now, right in front of us. Now, you guys know I always talk to somebody when I make a production like this. For this video, I honestly just picked the most random Florida resident I could find. But I'm glad the random worked out the way it did. Let's talk to Kate.
It's as shitty as we say it is, and the people are gross too. I don't know. I'm a pessimist though. I'm a pessimist. I will say that. But yeah, I really don't know what else to say about this state, to be honest.
Yeah, so like I think I read one of your comments in a Reddit thread that was about complaining about the growth, and I was doing some research on Polk County in particular. The whole state's going crazy, but Polk County, believe it or not, is the fastest growing county in Florida right now, probably just because there's so much room to grow. And so I drove around for like 3 hours and just recorded construction and track homes and construction and track homes. And I was like, this is crazy. And so, you know, I guess I just want to hear if you have an opinion on how the state's growing, the type of people moving in, how you feel about your state changing.
It's not safe to keep growing. Florida is not really land. A great portion of it is just thousands and thousands, and I mean, not thousands, eons of, you know, reef buildup. So it's not very stable. You know, we have an aquifer and limestone that's also very delicate and prone to like erosion. So what we have a lot here is sinkholes. That's a big deal. I know you probably know that, but I mean, they're everywhere and they cause a lot of damage, a lot of money, and it makes the living situation here worse because you're building up on areas that you can't really build on. You're building on a bog. There's mansions in a mud marsh right across the street from me. And oh my goodness, in A1A, there's houses on the dunes. It's like when you go to California or whatever, and people are like, there's mudslides and $1 million mansions are falling into the sea. It happens down the street here too. It's just smaller scale, but it's still sad, and it destroys the environment. And there's a lot of native species here that are just their populations are getting punched pretty much. It's rough. And it frustrates me a lot as a Floridian too, to see all these people come out here and disrespect like the land. They think it's a party. I like to say that Florida is a lot of fun, but it's definitely not somewhere I think you want to spend your entire life. Growing up there definitely changes people. And I didn't notice that until I left South Florida. When I came up to North Florida, and I was like, oh, so you guys are a little different, huh? It's a little, I don't know. It's a mess in my opinion. But with the moving stuff, yeah.
How does Florida change people?
How does Florida change people? It's like fast. Last time I went back down south, I noticed, I said in my Reddit post, lots of construction in the most beautiful places for years. It's like Homestead, which is, right outside of Kendall.
I went to Homestead. Yeah, I went to Florida City. I saw West Palm Beach County. Yeah, and Miami-Dade County. Yeah, I saw all that stuff.
It's gore. It used to be, oh my goodness, I wish I could show you. I mean, there's some pockets back there where you can find this beautiful turquoise crystal clear water, but it used to be the entire city. It's just disappointing, watching all these beautiful, like, historic farmlands and all these historic homes get knocked down and put up with apartments and parking lots for things we don't need. And it's only to accommodate the fact that we have too many people coming here, and there's too many people that are staying here too. It's been a seller's market here. You probably saw it's insane.
Yeah.
To live comfortably in South Florida, you're going to have to pay like over $3,000 a month in rent, and $1,800 for a hole in the wall that's falling apart. It's disappointing. And people are getting pushed out of areas that their entire families have been in for years. Smaller communities that, especially those in low economic status, they've been pushed out by the growth, pushed further west, and they'll even buy, I think, old projects and renovate them into new apartments. I think that's been going on too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like old Florida versus new Florida. Clearly, you like old Florida better. I drove up into the Panhandle and talked to a lot of people up there where it's still pretty rural, and saw a lot of your state that is still pretty rural. But most of what I saw was what you have been watching happen. It's sad. I like old Florida way better than new Florida.
Yeah, it breaks my heart. It did. And now the Keys, oh my God, after COVID and the Keys, we didn't have access to the Keys during COVID. They shut that entirely down. And it kind of didn't stay that way, but I saw more people wanting to go there. I feel like prices have gone there for accommodations up the route, like out of it. It's not even affordable for people who live in Florida anymore. Yeah, it's a game, I guess. I don't know.
Is it like the type of people moving into? Are you frustrated by the know-it-all northeasterners that come down with their big pocketbooks that act like they own the place and change all the laws and regulations and shit?
Not even that. I just think they're ignorant as to what they're moving into. I think they have this idea that Florida's Disney and Mickey Mouse, and go to South Beach everywhere, or, oh, we'll find a nice place and like go to the beach every so often. Oh my God. And the people with like, oh, this is our summer home. Like I can go to the beach 9 months out of the year, no problem. But God, when summer's here, it's just like Missouri, Minnesota, Texas. I'm like, go home. But I mean, we are a touristy state. People will come from God knows where just to go to that beach. They're parked all down A1A. They're walking 3 miles to the beach. You can't even drive your car. Takes me 20 minutes to go to a Starbucks 3 miles down the street. Not even. Sometimes even more if traffic's worse. I'd say like 30, 45. I've had drives that are typically 30-minute drives turn into hour excursions to Miami and such. I didn't live far from Miami either, and just getting down there just because of 5:30 traffic, it's like a mini LA. You know, it reminds me of LA in a way.
I mean, there's got to be good things to growth, right? I mean, in your opinion, is there anything good that comes out of being the most popular place for people to move to, or is it all bad? I mean, can you see any good in this?
You're asking that to a pessimist. But maybe I think it's good for people to experience something new and do what they want to do with their life. Definitely. If you want to move to Florida, come, whatever. Just, I guess, learn the rules. For the environment, it's a pain to watch. For the economy, cool. The housing market's kind of screwed anyway because everything's gonna be rebuilt inconsistently, fall apart, and you're gonna have to keep reinvesting and keeping it sturdy. We're seeing it in Miami. People are there's too much going on there. I think I had a friend that did a project on like how pointless the housing market is in Miami from some sort of ecological standpoint, by with the rate of which the ocean is rising and how many flood zones there are and how many they've built into, and for the price in which these houses are going for, it's a waste of money. You're a sellout if you move to Florida. I hate to say it. If you move here and you're like, I'm gonna live big money, do big things, I'm like, you're gonna waste your money and you're probably just gonna end up in a home with the rest of us. You're not gonna live a big baller life like you think you are. It's gonna come back and eat you. Yeah, we don't have to pay state income taxes like that, but comes through everything else. There's too many people here.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of people in Florida that are going to see this that want to give you a standing ovation for your opinion here.
I hope you do. We're a really cool state. Oh my God, a core Florida memory for me is when that guy took bath salts and ate that guy's face. I was in 4th grade and I got that and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, it didn't even faze me. I don't know. I think we just do it a little different. I'm proud to be a Floridian, but God, I want to leave this place and I want to be able to afford a living. I want to be able to afford my happiness, and I want to be able to afford, even for the sake of like, God, if I start a family, I don't want them growing up in like fucking Broward County. Like, I grew up there and I know what kids do in public schools. I went to a school 20 minutes away from where MSD was actually. And that, I was like, that, I don't know how they didn't do anything to stop anything. DeSantis, if you hear this, you need to get your shit together. You need to stop putting bills to vote on public education funding with like gas fracking laws. You can't vote on those things on the same bill, you asshole. So you're going to want something better, but you got to take something away from your people. That's what they do. Or from your environment. That's another way to put it. They don't care about that.
Do you feel like the state's just catering to rich people to get more people down? And I mean, they market themselves as come here and then they run out of room. And then what do, right?
For fuck's sake. Mar-a-Lago? Are you kidding me? Did you go there?
We drove by. I mean, I
drove by it. I mean, DeSantis has turned into a tiny Trump. Rick Scott with a bald asshole. It makes my blood boil. And we have a lot of Republicans here, you know, like gun toting, tobacco chewing, like rebel flag flying. Too many drugs, too much sadness, gives you too many reasons to do drugs. In my experience, plenty more. And it's not the best place. It's not a good place to raise kids either. If you come here with a family, you're stupid. You need to get out of here. The public educators don't have the space anymore, the amenities to keep up with how many children there are too. It's too many kids for one teacher now. The violence during BLM too in Florida was sad. But I feel like that goes for everyone. I feel like everybody's state's going through something at some point, but I think we're, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, man. Like,
No, I mean, a lot of people are complaining about the people that move down there are all excited when they get down there, but a lot of the people that live in Florida that have grown up in Florida are like worried, irritated, frustrated by all the growth, worried about the future of the state. I think a lot of people support DeSantis only because he took a stand against certain things, and I think people rallied behind that. A lot of people like to think they're free, and which drew in additional people. Are you going to lead? Do you think all this growth and all these people come in and the change, do you think you'll stick around in Florida, or are you going to get out of there?
I don't want to pay to live here, dude. I'm still getting my feet, on the ground. I'm a young adult. And it's scary. My sister is a manager at a restaurant in Tallahassee, and food industry life is hard. If you're working in food to make ends meet, you are a soldier. We see you. But this one woman that she manages, she came up to her and was crying. She said, "My rent went up." She was paying $9.50 for rent. I think she has 2 kids that she sees on occasion. She already works full time. She asked my sister if she could start having more hours. So now she's working doubles, I think like 4 to 5 days a week, just so she can make ends meet, because her rent went up from like $9.50 in some little studio in Tallahassee to $1,300. And it's not even in a good part of town.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Each county does it a little different, but in terms of watching people get pushed out of living situations, so there's a lot of classism that goes on here. Entire communities that are just extravagant, and who needs a 500 estates on a golf course? I live right across the street from TPC too. It's the biggest waste of land I've ever seen in my life. You guys keep a beautiful turf, plant more native shit. It's all money. It's all money. And that's why I want to leave so bad. I want to buy a historic house in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. Just disappear, go to work. I just want to be a nurse. That's all I want. And to get out of here, because you can't afford it.
Yeah, that's just sad that so many people feel like that. You get what you get. I mean, a lot of people in Florida was like, come here, and now they're like, oh shit, they came. Yeah, Florida's never gonna be the same. It's just gonna keep getting worse.
But that's what money will make you do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. You can get my email in the description to find out how I can help you find your perfect relocation. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more. You can also now buy my songs on iTunes and other formats. Click the link in the description. Thanks for watching. And remember, while we all might have different views, we should all be nice to each other and try to make the U.S. a better place in a positive way.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.